Welcome to the June edition of Littleton Common.
Yes, and Mark, I'm back because I got a raise. Or I thought I did, but when I went to TJ Maxx to buy some things, they told me they don't accept Monopoly money. Who would have known that?
Yeah, I know.
So we're going to have to renegotiate.
We could do that. They were really more like IOUs. I had no idea you were going to go try to spend them. So
well,
I apologize.
what else? I'm a person who likes to go shopping.
I know. Well, we'll take care of you for this month, and negotiations are still underway.
Just remember this. The next time, I don't want Confederate money either.
Okay.
I want the real thing.
All right, I'm going to do my best. Yep.
Well, it's June, but let's back up a little bit and recap May. You brought your musical talents to the senior diner dance, or rather it was a senior dinner dance.
Spring Fling.
Yeah, and how was it?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Had the full band there. You know, sometimes I play in a duo. It's just me and another guy, and I sequence the drums and the bass and horns and strings, and it's just the two of us playing instruments, but it sounds like a full band.
Right.
And it's nice because we can fit in a little corner of a restaurant or corner of a bar. You don't need, so we get a lot of gigs that way. But this time I brought the full band out and had a great time. I think the people really liked us, and I just love playing in Littleton. It's great to be in the hometown, and we played songs from the the 50s and 60s, which was perfect for our audience. So. Well,
can I tell you something? I've already gotten some information that people loved your music. One of my friends who's like in her late 90s said, that is the best band. It was so fun. The music was great. So,
that's
you're going to pay me more now?
Yes, I got a whole another set of Monopoly that I need to break into. So.
Well, I love the music you play, and it also makes me want to dance, and it brings me back a bit. So then, on May 29th, Littleton had its Memorial Day parade, and you were doing cable for that, and you're just a busy guy.
Yes, we were, and I wanted to thank especially Mike Stallings. He let us use his golf cart. And so myself and Damon Abetz, who was our intern, we were able to follow the parade through the golf cart and carry our equipment down and zip ahead of the parade and get out and shoot them coming by. Normally you have to either walk with the parade or just deal with the fact that you're going to miss some stuff.
Yep.
But this is the first year that we were able to cover the entire parade, all the different stops, all the different things that they did, and it was really... I think our best yet. So
I love it.
The fact that we had that golf cart was huge. So if anybody wants to donate a golf cart to LCTV, we can, put sponsors on it like they do for race cars.
Yeah, right. I love it. Well, I'm going to tell you this. This is funny because we were talking about the golf cart and the parade and everything, and I was thinking, back in the days when I was videotaping things, I started at Donlan's and walked with the parade.
Oh, wow. In heels probably, too.
I know, not in sneakers, because I don't own them.
You don't own sneakers, really?
No. But anyway,
funny?
Yeah, so that was, I could have used a golf cart.
Yep,
Sheesh.
for sure.
But it's really good to see all of our vets, and I'm so proud of them. I usually go to see my husband because I love seeing him in uniform. That's how I fell in love with him. I met him when he was in uniform.
Oh, yes.
And he still looks good in it, so.
They say women love a man in uniform. So
yeah, that's the trouble. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go to another little story.
Okay.
When I was a little 4-year-old, when I was saying my prayers at night, My mother said, I always said, so bless the mailman and the soldiers and the sailors. Anybody in uniform was in my
The
prayers.
milkman, yeah. Back then, the milkman, yeah.
But anyway, so what's
That's
going
cute.
on in June? It's graduation time, and a lot of young people getting ready to begin new adventures. One of them is your son, David.
That's right. My son David is graduating. He's number one in his class. Very proud to say.
Oh,
But of course, we're homeschooled, so he's the only one in his class. But we don't have to go there. The people don't need to know all the details.
I was so impressed.
Yeah, I know. No, he's a good kid. We'll be having his. We had his rather by the time this airs. We've had his ceremony, and it was nice. You know, we get to write things for him. He'll write his own speech since I'm the principal of the school. You know, I get to deliver an address, and yeah. So he's on to. He'll be going to Australia for.
How exciting
Yeah,
for him.
for like.
But your
6
other
months.
sons,
My other son is in Australia, and they're going to be together
Good.
at the same place. So we're excited about that. And in the meantime, he's also in June, late June, he'll be going to the Philippines for like a mission type trip, you know,
yeah.
with some friends of ours. So
Good.
it's going to be good. We're excited for him and how things are going.
Well, I want to know this, a little side thing. Your boys are going to Australia and Canada and all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay, what happens when Rachel says, Dad, I want to go to Australia? Are you going to be easy?
No, she's not allowed to travel within a 5-mile radius of where I live.
I wondered.
Yeah. No, you know, we'll have cross that bridge when we get there, right?
Yeah,
So,
you're going to get there faster than you
I
think.
know, it's a couple of years away.
Be prepared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, anyway, how about our little old Shattuck Street building? They had a ceremony of some type.
Yeah, they did.
100 years old.
100 years old, and on May 13th, right here in the front lawn, they had a little ceremony. Not a lot of fanfare. I guess the building didn't want a lot of fuss made over it. You know,
Right.
It specifically asked, "I don't want a big party," so
Oh.
we wanted to honor the building's request. You know,
Right.
so they had a little party, and we have a picture of the cake because they had not a big gathering, and there was an extra cake left over, and they brought it into the break room, which I looked at it. And anyway, there's a picture of it on the screen. But yeah, that was good. It was 100 years, and you know, it started off as the first major school in town. I mean, there were other schools in town, little schoolhouses,
Yeah.
but this was the first building that was going to be townwide.
Oh, I see.
And so K through 12 went to this school for many years.
Yeah. I know Stephanie, my daughter, went there. You must have
I
gone.
did too, but by the time I was here, they had built other schools, so it wasn't the main school. I just went to 4th and 5th grade here.
Yeah.
In fact, the studio that we're taping in is the old gymnasium, so it's
Good.
kind of neat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. Looks really good in here, too.
yeah, it does.
So the library left the Shattuck Street building months ago to move to the new updated building that they're in now. And also we hear the solar panels will be turned on this month. I think, wow, let's see how they work.
Excellent. Yeah, in fact, you can check out the Reuben Hoare website for details, but there's a ribbon cutting event for the new solar panels. It's going to be on Saturday, June 10th, and it's at 10:30 in the morning in front of the library. And Senator Eldridge will be there to help cut the ribbon. Of course, Senator Eldridge was instrumental in helping the library secure $110,000 earmark in the state budget to obtain the solar panel.
Wow.
So, yeah, they're going to have a little celebration there on June 10th that they want everyone to join.
Are they going to have cake?
I sure hope so.
Yeah. Or did you save the other cake?
Yeah, that's, no.
No.
No, the other one, they're going to need a new cake. If
Oh,
they,
okay. I can't wait to see them work, and also I can't wait for the groundbreaking for the new senior center. And I wonder, will they get solar panels too? It might just
question.
move on.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. We'll see how these ones work. you know.
All right.
Yeah.
So we do have some sad news to report. Hazel Plummer, our beautiful Littleton lady, who was the oldest person in Massachusetts and would have turned 115 in May, was it? Or
June. Yeah.
She passed away, but I had the pleasure of interviewing her for her 100th birthday. And she, in fact, I had my granddaughter with me, Jordan, and after she met Hazel and we were leaving, she said to me, "Grandma, can we take her home with us?" She thought she was cute.
Yeah, she was quite the lady, very sweet. We did, when she turned the age, I think it was 112, she became the oldest person. And we were up there capturing the moment. You can see that on LCTV On Demand. But yeah, it was a sad loss for the town. And,
Yeah.
you know,
But
I think she lived a good, long life. In fact, you made a point, we were talking, that the Shattuck Street building celebrated its 100th birthdays, and you know, she was a teenager when that was happening, you know, so.
True.
Yeah, what a
She
long
was
life.
sweet.
Well, if you're looking to volunteer for something worthwhile, although volunteering for all things is worthwhile, right? Well, this one also teaches you some skills, or it gives you a chance to use your skills. It's called Sleep in Heavenly Peace. It's a national organization that builds beds for kids who don't have one. And can you imagine a child who sleeps on a floor or a cot, a drawer even, or has to share a bed with a sibling? Their slogan reads, "No kid sleeps on the floor in our town." And that should be true of Littleton, don't you think? If you'd like to get involved with this organization, you can go to SHP Beds, that's Sleep in Heavenly Peace Beds.org, and look for the local chapter for Massachusetts. There are two. One is in the Athol Orange area, and the other is right here in the Acton Littleton area. So you can search that out, you can get involved with that. I bet you would be good at that. You know?
Well, yeah, if I were younger and wasn't falling apart.
Well, you have the tool belt and everything.
I
Maybe
do,
if you
I
have
do.
a combination of tool belt and back belt. you
And
can
I,
just
yeah,
tighten it
and
up
I
with-
got lots of tools.
Yeah,
In fact, I got one for Mother's Day.
really?
Yeah, but it's for the trees. This one is about way tall.
You know, that's so funny. If I gave my wife, or my kids gave my wife, a tool, they'd be history.
I love it.
I
I love
know.
it. I
You're
wait for them.
Isn't that funny?
Actually, I've got too many because, you know, I'm not using them all right now. But if I were younger and if, like I said, I was in better shape than I am today, I would definitely, if I had known about it, I
Yeah.
would have loved to do that. I wanted to even help with building houses.
Oh, like Habitat for Humanity?
Yeah, but was too busy at the time doing other things.
Right.
So can't do that anymore either. But
Well, you'll get there.
yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I
you'll
will.
get there.
So Megan Ford from Hearsmart Audiology is here to tell you about a class you might be interested in.
Thank you, Barbara. I am very happy to be here today. I just wanted to talk a little bit about American Sign Language, and I will talk a little bit about my history and where we are today with it here in Littleton. I grew up with my father wearing hearing aids, and when I was about 7 years old or so, he stopped wearing the hearing aid because it broke, and he didn't want to pay to get it fixed. So I witnessed a lot of communication breakdown between my parents. My mom and my dad would be talking in two different rooms, couldn't hear each other, and I was always trying to figure out solutions and trying to be the go-between to help the communication that I was seeing was breaking down. I always would notice the sign language interpreters on TV, and I became very interested in sign language when I was, I remember being about 10 years old, going to the library and taking out every book I possibly could, and I taught myself the alphabet in sign language. And then later on, when I was in high school, I befriended a couple of girls who were profoundly deaf and considered in the deaf community. They didn't speak at all, and their primary language was American Sign Language. And because I knew a little bit from childhood, I tried to communicate the best I could with them, and they just loved it and taught me more and more signs. So the only way I could really hang out with and communicate with them was to use sign language, and that really taught me a lot. By the time I graduated high school and I had to pick a foreign language in my college courses, at the University of Pittsburgh, there was a wonderful American Sign Language course that was offered that was taught by a woman who was deaf, and her name was Karen Walkney, and she was wonderful. Unfortunately, she passed away several years ago, very young, at the age of 55 from cancer, and she was fabulous. She taught American Sign Language. I took it for 4 years. And deaf culture. I was in a sign language performance group with her called Beautiful Hands. And then even after I graduated and basically minored in American Sign Language while I was studying communication disorders to then go on to become an audiologist, while I was in graduate school, my father and I went to the Western Pennsylvania School for the Deaf, and we took some sign language courses together just so I could keep up my skills. Nowadays, as an audiologist, I would say a few times a year I have patients that come in that are profoundly deaf, and they are their native language is American Sign Language, and so I get to use it on the job occasionally. But as an audiologist, it's not very common to actually know sign language. We're always trying to correct hearing loss and help people to hear better. But people that are profoundly deaf, that are congenitally deaf or born deaf into deaf families or into the deaf culture, they don't look at it, the hearing loss, as a disability at all. They are very proud of their culture. And the American Sign Language is a true language, just like French or Italian and English. It's very different than English. It has a whole different sentence structure. So bringing us to present day, on Facebook, I was scrolling about 4 or 5 months ago, and somebody I know posted something about wanting to know where they could learn some sign language. And I had just commented and said, oh, if you want to meet up, I'd be happy to teach you some signs and what I know, thinking it was just something casual and it would just be her and I maybe getting coffee and doing a little chatting with American Sign Language. And then all of a sudden, many people started commenting, saying, I would like to learn too, I would like to learn. And so I decided, well, there's so much interest, maybe I'll use the office waiting area at Hearsmart Audiology and have people meet there. Since we have a big waiting area, we can put chairs in a circle and have as many people show up that they want. But the numbers were starting to grow beyond 20 people. It was like 40 people were interested. So I had to limit it to about 20 or so people for one night that I sat with people for about maybe an hour or so and just taught them some basic vocabulary, basic sentence structures, and a little bit of deaf culture. And it was a wonderful time, and I was so excited to see that so many people were interested in American Sign Language here in Littleton. I had a wait list of another 20 people. So I also got contacted by the Littleton Parks and Recreation Department, and they approached me and asked if I would teach a course through their community education program. And I agreed, but I didn't want to be paid for it because I'm not deaf, I'm a hearing person, and it's not my native language, and I don't feel right accepting payment for teaching a language that is not my native language. So I am donating any proceeds I get from the class I am teaching right now through Littleton Parks and Recreation to the Decibels Foundation. You can go to the Decibels Foundation website to learn more about it. They offer services for children and families, children that are born with hearing loss through early intervention type services. But in the meantime, there was a large wait list of people that couldn't get into that class, and even more and more people have been inquiring about taking another sign language class through Littleton Parks and Recreation. I'm starting to feel very conflicted because in my teaching, I know that it's always best to learn American Sign Language from a deaf person. So I started reaching out to all of the people I know in the deaf communities and asking if they knew anyone that would be willing to come into Littleton to teach American Sign Language. And we finally found somebody, and I'm happy to announce that Professor Stephen is culturally deaf, and he's going to start teaching American Sign Language here in Littleton starting on June 19th on Monday evenings. You can sign up through Littleton Parks Recreation Community Education website. There's a link to sign up. There will be 2 classes on Monday evenings from 6 to 7, and then the next class is from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. I think this is going to be an absolutely fabulous class, and I think he will be able to teach people American Sign Language and deaf culture much more than I could possibly as a hearing person. I am happy to talk a little bit about sign language just to get people interested in it. It's a really fabulous visual language that has its own sentence structure. For example, because it's a visual language, unlike English, which usually describes something before you can even tell what you're talking about. In American Sign Language, it's really important that you have the topic stated first. So either the noun or the topic is the first thing you state, then you describe it, and then you put the action or the verb later. For example, if I said, I am going to the store, in sign language, it would be store, me, go to, because there is no I in sign language. It's me, and I is an English word. So you would just point to yourself as me in American Sign Language. There's some also interesting things about how important facial expression is. We have tone of voice in the spoken English language and other spoken languages, but for American Sign Language, facial expression is extremely important. So when you sign a WH question word like where or when or what, you want your eyebrows to be down, and that allows the person reading your signs to know it's a question or it's a WH. It's part of the context. If you're sad, if you're signing I'm sad, you wouldn't want to have a happy or neutral look on your face. You'd want to have a sad look on your face. I'm sad or I'm happy. And facial expression is extremely important. It's part of the tone. It's part of the context of the language. You also have spatial use. So usually signing takes place wherever your arms are in front of you. And finger spelling usually takes place right to the side here in a certain area. So if you're using the alphabet to sign somebody's name, it's usually right here. Anything that's in front of you represents the future. Anything that's right where your body is represents the present moment. And anything that's behind you represents the past. So future, now, past. And if you're talking about like week, 1 week into the future, or 1 week ago, you put it behind you. And then there's some other things to know, like the upper part of the face is the masculine. So boy, father, everything below is feminine. So girl, woman, mother, grandmother. And that's because men often wear baseball caps, and women used to wear bonnets that tied under their chin. So if there's a sign happening up here like uncle, it's going to be on the upper part to represent masculine, and aunt is on the lower part of the face for aunt and uncle. So there's some interesting things about sign language. I love the language and I love to communicate. I could always continue to learn more myself, and I do plan on being involved in maybe taking a couple of the courses offered by Professor Larry Stephen. I'm so excited that there's such a huge interest in Littleton about American Sign Language, because I think it would be the best universal language for the entire world. If there was one universal language, it would be the most inclusive language for everyone. So that's all I have to say, and I'm very happy for the interest, and I hope everyone signs up to take this class.
Yeah, thanks, Megan. That's pretty amazing. That things I didn't know. I didn't know that the area above here is for men because of the old hat thing. So when you use sign language to do with men, you use the upper part of your because it's supposed to represent how they wore hats.
Okay.
And for the ladies, it's below because they wore bonnets. You tie the bonnet. So
I'll be darned.
And, when you're talking about an aunt or a sister or something, it's done from down here, and the men are up here. You don't. If I have time, I might see about taking that class.
I wanted to, but then it was canceled. The one I wanted to take.
Right.
I think it's quite interesting, and why not know this particular language? And she had some cards in her office that were for children to learn sign. So I was looking through them, and I was amazed how many things we use our hands for that are signing.
Right.
That's
true. Especially
Me.
You talk with your hands a lot. My wife does too. And it's an Italian thing, I think.
It is, definitely.
But we taught our kids sign language when they hadn't learned to speak yet.
Yeah.
So I already knew thank you and please is, when you rub your thing like this.
Yeah.
More,
Yeah.
stuff like that. We had something for milk, those were, they got it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that they couldn't express the words, but they knew to say thank you.
How
say
cute.
thank you.
I like it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Maybe we'll learn how to say thank you anyway.
Yes. Thank you. That's right.
Thank you.
Well, our Littleton Rotary Appleman Triathlon is a huge event here in town, and a lot of work and a lot of fun go into making this an outstanding event each year. And so here to talk about that event is Rotary President Roger Hartley.
Good afternoon. My name is Roger Hartley, and I am the president of the Rotary Club of Littleton, Massachusetts. The Rotary Club is a service organization and has about 25 members in our Littleton organization. And I want to tell you a little bit about our biggest event of the year coming up on Sunday, July 23rd. It is our 15th annual Appleman Triathlon race. It's a terrific event. It's sanctioned by the United States Athletic Association and is open to anyone who wants to participate in triathlon. If you're unaware, triathlon is 3 events. And this is called the sprint triathlon. It's not the big long Ironman, but our race is a half a mile swim, a 10-mile bike ride, and a 3-mile run. It starts at the Park and Rec facilities down at Long Lake, and it is, as I say, Sunday, July 23rd. Race time is at 8 o'clock. We are looking for people to sign up for the race. We have well over 100 participants thus far, and you can sign up anytime up to the day of the race. If you are interested in participating, our website is applemantriathlon.com, and there you can sign up as a participant, or you can also sign up as a volunteer. We have a large group of volunteers every year that help us out in helping set up the transition area, the race course, monitoring the swim area. So we have a very well organized group of people to set up and then take down the race after it's over. So if you want to race or you want to volunteer, again, it's applemantriathlon.com, and you can do that. Now, we have some people that say, this is great, but I can't do all those events. Well, you don't have to. You can participate in 2 of them. That's called the duathlon, And that is the bike section and the run section, or you can do the aqua bike race, which is a half a mile swim and a 10-mile bike ride, and you can do that. So it's a great event. Entry fees are $90 for the normal triathlon, $80 for the duathlon. So one other way to participate is a team, a relay. You can get 3 people, and you can do each one of the segments of the race as a team. So all of this is very well organized with timing. Our race director company times everybody. It's very advanced. What you do when you start the race, you're in the water first, and so you step on a mat, and it clicks off your stopwatch that you've got on your strap to your leg, and your event will be timed, and results will come out shortly after the race. So it's a wonderful event. So volunteers, we'd love to have you. Race participants, we'd love to have you. And so if you are interested, please go to the website and sign up. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Roger. That was great. Rotary Club in town does great work, don't they?
Oh, they do, really. And they're always willing to help, other people. I like
Sure.
that about them.
Yeah.
If they didn't, I guess they're not meeting so early in the morning anymore, because I had told them if they weren't meeting at 7:30 in the morning when I'm in my jammies,
No excuse. Now they meet at noon at El Forno's on
I'm probably
Wednesdays.
going to still be in my jammies, though.
Well, that's okay. But, El Forno's noon. Check them out, the Rotary Club. Yep. Every Wednesday.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. Y'all come back. But in the meantime, don't forget to hug a senior.
Oh.